let me ask you this: what does biblical justice look like
Ooh.
today in this
Yeah.
matter? Because I think everybody wants justice,
Mhm.
but maybe there's talking past each other like of what it should look like. I mean, what do you think, Adam? I mean, what should the
Oh
church
yeah.
do to try to seek justice? Because you're saying the church needs to lead the way here. What's that? What's that look like?
Great
I
question.
don't,
So there's many different dynamics, and I want to I want to concede at the outset that different theologians have different perspectives on what justice means and how attainable it is or not in this life. I'm going to give my perspective, and then I'll be crucified for it. But first of all, I don't believe that by human means we can ever achieve total justice. I think it's just beyond our ability, because I believe that justice is in itself is a transcendent concept. It's something that flows from the very nature of God, and man in his fallenness we're just unable to attain that.
we'll never get.
So
Yeah.
we'll never get it completely right. But but that doesn't mean to say that it's not an aim. You know what I'm saying? It just so I think for Christians, I think what we should expect for society, we would want to influence, nudge, be active in society toward the end that our systems, whether it be legal, economic, punitive, so forth, that they reflect, that they approximate to God's standard of what is righteous as much as humanly possible. Understand? I mean, look, again, I recognize everything's not going to be perfect because we're dealing with a broken world. But if we identify that there is maybe some policy, a perfect example, within the last 2 years or so, there was a lot of clamoring about justice in terms of sentencing. And then, both parties really came together, Republican, Democrat, Trump signed, this bill that will, I don't know all the dynamics of it, but it's supposed to, really eliminate some of the unjust or maybe, seemingly unfair sentencing that had been going on. That's a case where you can apply a policy, and then hopefully there will be an outcome such that the system is working towards, the aim of justice more so than it otherwise would. So, and I think that for Christians, we ought to always be exerting our influence as voters, as if we have some affiliation with a party, being a voice there. I'm thinking about in political terms. We ought, just it's going to be funny and kind of coin a Malcolm X phrase, but by any means necessary, within legal parameters. I'll add that caveat. By any means necessary within legal and moral parameters, we ought to be exercising our rights to influence the system, and then on top of that, justice is very dynamic. It's really a concept that works its way from the top on down in every level of society. And so if you're a business owner, doing justice might be something like if you own a franchise, planning a one franchise in a economically distressed area to provide, jobs for people, and then giving people an opportunity by which they can advance themselves. That might be an expression of justice. Now that would be more so Zedekiah, kind of like this notion of charity. So because there's two words that you find circling around this notion of justice in the scripture. You find Zedekiah and you find Mishpat. So depending on which one you're talking about, there can be some implications there. But that'd be more so like Zedekiah, and versus Mishpat, you kind of, I want to say you're kind of dealing more so with the legal aspect and rendering right judgments. And so if you see a particular population, like the poor, for example, I'll use a perfect example. I think we have a real problem with our system of plea bargaining. Meaning, you have individuals who get charged with stuff, and due to their economic situation, they can't afford to have proper representation. And we have a real problem with people taking pleas because it's better than just, going to court and then taking a real loss. Nobody should be in jeopardy of a jail sentence. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't economically get themselves out of it. Nobody should be in that kind of position.
Right.
So these are the kind of things that we can rethink. Like maybe there's something about our public defender system that we can beef up, and that would be something that I think would be interesting. But I'm just kind of offering that as an example. So when I think about justice, I think about all levels of society. How can we, be change agents? I'm saying, how can we be that salt of our earth? How can we come alongside people and really work toward their well-being? Because really, that's what justice is all about. It's not just this abstract concept. It's in so many ways tied to well-being. And the best account that I think there is of well-being is obviously flows from the biblical worldview. So then you got anthropology that kind of flows in there as well. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be long-winded, but
that's why we're on the show.
Right. Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. As I've been looking at some of the complaints recently, and I've seen some of the disparity between the sentences between a white person who commits a crime and a black person who commits a crime, and really all things being equal, and the white guy getting a much easier, he gets off easy, while the black guy goes to spend years in prison. I mean, that boils my blood. So I think there's some things that maybe if it's Black Lives Matter, the organization, some things that they're seeking to change. They're like, no, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Don't blow the whole thing up just because there's some problems. But then I look at some of these problems and I'm like, well, that should be an easy fix. Just treat everybody equally, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, it should be. But the thing is, well, now one thing I do want to say is, while I do agree with your point, I think there's something that needs to be looked into. Justice doesn't have to be hasty. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes people are hasty with it. Like when you see a disparity, then we ought to be careful to properly diagnose that disparity. You know what I'm saying? We want to say just because there's something that's uneven, maybe there's something going on there, maybe it isn't. That's where we want to investigate. Right. The problem is a lot of times people don't even want to investigate. It's like, whatever, we just let it be what it be, but that's something we need to look into. And I think that's justice too. I'm saying, like, if we think that there might be some kind of problem here, let's look into it. And if we find that there's a problem, take action. If we find that, things are just looks weird because they look weird, then so be it. But perfect example, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about African-American males. Obviously, it's unfortunate, but between the ages of 18 and 25, there's a high rate of crime, and so a lot of people, point to that as being something that, it's, I don't know anybody who's rational who isn't concerned about that, really spend some time thinking about it. But there's so many different ways to engage that problem, other than just locking people up. What I mean? It's when you think about crime is really downstream from a host of other societal things going on, and we need to make sure that we're treating problems, not symptoms. Because one thing I do know is that, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the guy that's on the street corner, he's not flying in drugs from Cancun or wherever else they fly in drugs from. You know what I'm saying? He's not trafficking drugs across the border. You know what I mean? It's funneling to him through some chain of wrongdoers, and it gets to the block, and he's selling it to people in his town. But before you get there, what I want to know is, what are we doing at the border? What are we doing to root out that guy who's supposed to be watching the border but has been paid off, and now he's going to turn a blind eye to that those tons of kilos or whatever that are coming across the border? Like, what are we doing about that guy? I'm saying, because then we can have, we can affect change on all levels. So we need to be. It's hard work, man. Morality is hard work, and I hate to say it, but I just think that sometimes, both in the church and outside the church, sometimes we're just too morally lazy to get up and do what we need to do. And we need to stop that. We need to be compelled by the gospel. I'm saying, in the church, we need to be compelled by the gospel to do right, to do justice. Amen. Yeah.
So I had a question for Adam, specifically.